Hello and welcome to today's session. Thanks everyone for joining. We have a 300k Apex Trader funding challenge. We're currently only up about $192. We'll run over. I've started this schedule a little bit later just so we can kind of just quickly run through what we're looking at. Bit of an explainer of what we're doing here. If you do want an Apex Trader funding account at the moment, there is an 80% off discount code. You can use GFT for global finance trading. So GFT will get you that 80% off your evaluations. Looking at the DAX, as always, we've got the pivot points, bit of a triple band kind of scenario. If I zoom in a bit, there's 2 points down here as well as the previous day's low. So kind of looking at a bit of a triple banding situation, but it's not as tight. It's not so tight that it's probably going to create a ranging scenario, but it may. Just something to be aware of. We're quite close to the previous day's close. We're likely to come and touch that at some point through the day because we are quite close to it. It's unlikely that we will leave this unfilled, but it could happen. So this will form a target, particularly if we head long at the open and potentially bounce off the breakout long or even the R2 if we get some serious momentum. Because what happened yesterday on the US market, it spiked really hard. We went all the way up to the S3, or should I say the R3, so the outermost purple level. And basically the market just powered on up. It didn't retrace at all and it stayed above that R3 for the rest of that session once it got up there. So hoping today we'll come down and touch this close gap. If we get all the way down to the S1, I'll be looking for buys. If we get to the pivot and we start to see the market turning, I will be looking for buys as well as the close. If we push up, I'll be looking to sell probably around the breakout long. If I get in at the high or the R1, it starts getting a little bit funny on the risk reward ratio. So getting down here, target might be sort of halfway to the close gap if we've already hit it. And what that will do is it'll sort of be a 1-to-1. It's not really the kind of trade I'd be looking to take. So I'd rather take it at the breakout long short, and just see if the market respects it. There's every chance that this market will power up. Usually at some point the DAX just starts rallying inexplicably. So we'll have a look at the longer time frames to see when we might see some bullish momentum come into play. Up towards the R3 today, we do have the 24,000 mark. I'll just check if we got close to the unfilled gap. So still unfilled down here at the 23,267 mark. Still forming, I guess, a target at some point in the future, but it might be some time before that one gets filled. We'll have a look at the bigger time frames. We're going to let the open dictate what we'll do. So using that extra volatility to get us into a better spot to get into either a long or short position. So getting in right now, it's kind of in no man's land. It could go short, it could go long. I'm not sure right now, but I'm hoping the market will push us in a certain direction. We'll get a bit of an indication of where we might end up. Quickly check the other time frames now. We've got 6 minutes to go before the open. So very steady. Over the past 4 months, we haven't broken this kind of range. At the moment, this market is bearish. And nothing too much other than that. So it's just kind of hanging around. We're down to the weekly now. It's kind of hanging around at the lower end of the spectrum down here in this range that we've been seeing for some time. Because it is at the lower range of what I'm seeing here, I'm hoping that we will have some bullish momentum over the next, I guess, few weeks, because we had 3 down weeks. We may have another down week, but it's quite rare to see the market be super bearish for a long time without having really sharp pushes down like we saw back here. The DAX is often a very big money flow inlet for investment, and the outlet forcing it to go down is often very swift and relates to things like tariffs or other sort of things in the market that push the market down. So natural disasters, major events that push the market lower, that's when the DAX really responds, and that's what happened back here. We're not particularly seeing that right now, so I am looking predominantly for longs. We've had 3 weeks of downward activity, so we'll go down to the daily. We've got 4 minutes left. Not too much on the way of the Bollinger Bands yet. Daily, nothing too spectacular to look at. We're kind of middle of nowhere on the daily candles. 4 hour looks like we could be turning down, but we are on this mid Bollinger Band line, which, if we come down, touch this close gap, we could be on for a long off that, but no real indication other than, I guess, it could be turning down at this point rather than continuing long. So just building a picture of what we can see, what that might mean for us as traders. On the 1 hour, we do have the Bollinger Band up just below the R1. So if we have a really impulsive move at the open into the breakout long, we'll pierce that top Bollinger Band. Same goes for the low. We'll basically just touch it and it will probably push out further. So it's not going to be such an impactful thing to watch unless it continues on lower to the S2. So what I'll be watching for is a big spike, push up into the breakout long, and then hopefully we'll see some short opportunity come of that, a bit of a rejection off these levels. The M30, nothing too much here, very similar to the 1 hour. Will spike right outside if we do come all the way down to the S1. So this Bollinger Band on the low on a 30-minute will be pierced and have a really strong wick activity if we do kind of bounce off this level. So very good buying opportunity from that perspective off these levels. However, we'll just have to see if that's how it pans out. It's quite a distance away, so we'll really need some big pushing from the market. 15-minute, if we do have a big push, again, the 15 minutes a bit more forgiving on the Bollinger Bands. So wherever we touch on these levels, we're pretty much at the low or the high, either way, in conjunction with the pivot points. Then we'll just sit on the 5-minute waiting for the market open in about a minute and a half. I do still have a couple of giveaways, guys. I think I've got a couple of accounts still available. So if you do get active in the chat, let me know how you're going. We've got about 1 minute till the open, and we'll just see if there's any volatility we can take advantage of in this early session. So I've got one contract here on the depth of market. We're trading the full DAX index because we're on a 300k account. It's a bit more forgiving in a sense of we can trade the full contract and not get wiped out on little moves. So basically just waiting for the open in 30 seconds time, hoping for that impulsive move, either long or short, and then we'll make a decision from there. So 20 seconds to go. I will probably go quiet for a bit while I watch the market and try and explain what I'm seeing. particularly in line with the order flow. So the order flow occurs quite quickly. Got to be quite swift, but I'll do my best to commentate what's going on from my opinion. This looks bullish to me. If I can find a good point to get long, hoping we come down and touch this close gap first, but I don't think we're going to see that. Yep. Okay, I've hit the buy button, but it's right at the top of that activity there. I'm just going to get out. So we made a couple of $100 there. Oh, just $100. Could have stayed in. This is the impulsive move that we're looking for. We need to see some activity on the other side to pull us back down. Otherwise, this is probably going all the way up to, say, the breakout long, hopefully. But I'm quite glad I got out of that, because I still think we're going to come down and touch this close gap at some point. And if we don't, it's going to form probably a bit of a stronger target than usual. Looks like buying. If we see a really strong ask level up here, that may tell us that we may turn back around, but it's not happening just at the moment. So I'm just waiting. Not a bad start, obviously we're up $100, but on a 300k account, that's simply not enough. I'm not sure why it's 3,300. I must have been 200 up yesterday already. So that's good. We've only made 100, looking for more opportunities, but just waiting for the market to position itself a little better before I get involved. I don't like staying in, I guess, somewhat uncertain trades at the open, particularly when we're going against the close gap direction. So I was long, but I still think we're going to come down and hit this target. So I got out quite quickly. I just wanted to capture a little bit of that impulsive movement because it looks bullish to me. We had a bit more red activity, or the ask side activity. I guess on a visual sense, that may not be the case, but it looked like that when the market opened. I just kind of had that feeling that it was going to go long. I hit buy after it pulled back a little. Probably didn't get the best entry, and that spooked me a little too, because I don't want to be in a trade at the highest point that exists. If we get a really big ask side order after this thin volume, that may be the time to sell. So I'm just waiting and watching. Guys, if you're in the audience, just let me know. If you want your free account, just get active in the chat. I do have, I think, a couple left. Free Apex Trader Funding giveaway, any size, any platform with Apex, free for a month. So we didn't get that massive ask order, so the market's still figuring out what direction it wants to go. I'm hoping we do hit some of these pivot points during the early parts of this session. Otherwise, the trading activity or the high quality trades may not come till quite a bit later. So just waiting it out, hoping the market paints a better picture for us to say, okay, the market is likely to turn around or continue. So just waiting it out, trading the full DAX index, simply because I've changed my account from the 25k, it's now a 300k Apex challenge. Gives me a lot more breathing space, particularly for that drawdown that occurs middle of the day. It's a bit challenging to navigate, so looking for in and out and looking for, I guess, bigger movements in a short period of time. We've got 6 contracts up here. Need a lot more than that to probably turn us around. Big, strong, bullish candle. So we're now outside the Bollinger Band on the 5-minute. Want to make sure I can see what's going on the minis as well. Sometimes you see more of a picture on the smaller contracts before you see it on the bigger ones, so it's good to watch both. And just waiting for that indication to take us in a particular direction. That 11 contracts could be us. Just want to see what happens here. We may go a little bit higher. There's a lot more activity at this price point, and that could be buying, but yeah, it could be limit orders. I'm getting ready to hit sell just in case. I'm in for a short position, but again, I don't want to sit here and cop too much drawdown, because it may go all the way up to this breakout long. So depending on what activity I see on the order flow, I may just get out quite quickly, take the hit, and get back in at a later point. I'm hoping all this activity is enough to turn the market back down. Could be some aggressive selling there. That's the action we want to see. Perfect. Probably going to look at an exit this at some point. I think I'm going to get out there. We've got that big 19, so I'd imagine that could be aggressive buying, so I don't want to get in front of that. It's starting to maybe come back. So we're up, what are we up? 375 for this session so far in 6 minutes, plus the 200 yesterday, so that's quite a good start, but it's a long way to target just yet. Target for this account is 20k profit, so we're not even 1/20th of the way there yet after today and yesterday, but the market hasn't really moved in the directions as swiftly as we'd like. Basically just waiting for a better opportunity. So because of this activity here, the 17 and the 19, and then there was 8 contracts there when I looked, it kind of felt like the market was going to have a bit of a jump around and come back up the other way. So I didn't want to sit there and wait, particularly if I think the market's going to go all the way up to the breakout long. But we'll just wait and see. This may go all the way down to the close gap. And we're just looking for new opportunities to get back into the market. So we're sitting at 600. If I can get to perhaps 301k today, that would be pretty cool. I've gone into thin volume down here, so the market's basically just let go. It hasn't captured it. There's no traders either side. So particularly in this sort of a situation, and when there's new pricing for the day, and there's a super large contract like this 20 or 24, particularly after thin volume, that can indicate there's some big players in the market that are looking to either turn the market around or really push it through a certain level. So the market's falling. Just waiting for a reason to perhaps get long again if I can. We may go all the way down to this close gap, and we're just watching the order flow to see if there's any clues that will take us in the right direction. Part of trading, guys, as well is analyzing yourself. It's just you and the market. So understanding yourself as a trader and developing that mindset around what you do well, what you don't, is really important. So basically what I'm noticing at the moment is I get into trades at reasonable prices, but then I don't hold the position for long enough. So the analysis is on point, but I guess it's the ability to hold that trade to let it go towards target. It doesn't have to go all the way, but just hold it for a reasonable amount of time. That's something that I need to work on. Obviously, we've had a pretty good start to the day, but it's not quite, it's not optimum trading. I've definitely left a lot of money on the table because I'm not holding these positions. But on the flip side, I'm getting out and not taking heat as well. So you've kind of got to judge the market, understand what risks you want to take and what risks you're happy to take, and figure out if it's all worth it. So a bit of bullish activity here. Nothing that I can put my finger on just yet, waiting for it to get to a particular level that looks a bit more decisive. It's all about being patient and waiting for the volume to tell you the market's going in a particular direction. So just sitting tight, watching the order flow. Not too sure what to make of this. It looks like the market's not quite sure of what direction it wants to go just yet. It doesn't look like anyone's necessarily in control at this point. And hoping for a nice, strong, impulsive move. Hopefully a lot of thin volume as we get higher, if the market goes this direction, of course. So super thin volume, massive ask contract to turn us back down. So we'll just see if that pans out for us. The tricky part of reading the order flow is defining whether the bid and ask volume is based on limits or aggressive entries, because that ultimately tells you whether it's somebody getting in long or short. So a bid can be a long or short entry, and often I like to see, say, a bid, if it's got a green bid order at the bottom of the candle, that will tell me that we may be moving long, followed by aggressive ask orders coming in, and vice versa for the ask side. If we get a contract like we've seen here, so it's 21, but if this was a lot thinner, that might tell me that the market's going back the other way as well. It's really just hovering around, waiting it out, hoping the market goes in a particular direction to give us a strong opportunity, either long or short today. We've had a little win, so 375. That'll take a very long time for us to actually get to target. If we do that every day. So we need some bigger opportunities to come our way. Hi Trek Lord, thanks for joining. It's going okay, so we're up 375. I got long near the open, saw a bit of, I guess, volatility and expected the market to go long. However, I was concerned about the close gap down here, that would come down and fill that first. But I hit the button, I got out quite quickly, so I only took a few points out, and then I got short up on the previous day's high as well for a few points, and that's panned out quite well. So I think I got in somewhere up here, got out around this level that we're at right now. So left a little bit of money on the table and just looking for the next opportunity at the moment. So I'm expecting the market, hopefully it'll get up and perhaps touch this breakout long point, and we'll see an indication on the order flow to define the direction we're going to go in, and at what price, of course. How's your trading going at the moment, Trek Lord? Did you have a good day yesterday? Looks like it's building, but it's fairly thin here. I'd love to see some really thin volume to take us up to this breakout long. We may not see that. That could be an aggressive seller there. The reason I think that is because the position of this contract, it's kind of high on the candle. So it's almost like somebody's pushed it as a seller. If you want to obviously learn more about the order flow, I think there's a link in the description of this video. It's for Trader Dale's book. So he talks about order flow. That's kind of the book that I read to get a better feel for what the actual order flow means. So you've got basic supply and demand, but also understanding which contracts mean buying versus selling. Looks like we're dropping. If we get past this structure here, we may head towards this close gap, which would be nice. If I do see some aggressive movement short, I'll be tempted to hit the button short. So yeah, great work on that, Trek Lord. It's always just about improving what you can do. Yeah, the order flow, actually, I do find that when I don't use order flow and I just purely rely on these levels and trade the way I normally trade, it generally goes a lot better than the situation that I end up in with these Apex accounts. So I do have an FTMO running as well, and I'm just trading that with limit orders based on the analysis. But I enjoy trading the Apex Trader Funding live. It's a bit of fun. And eventually, reading this order flow, obviously it's quite complex. You're really trying to work out a puzzle, build a picture of all the participants in the market. And then hopefully at some point it'll make a lot of sense. You might find a way where the market's actually telling you, okay, this is what's happening here. So I do like sharing my, insights and sharing my experience with people using the order flow, but I actually prefer trading just purely on these levels, waiting for impulsive moves. You can see it clear as day when the market's just powering in a particular direction. And then when it starts to reject, it's quite cool to see. So the market's just, for the last 10 minutes, it's kind of not really done much at all. Very, very limited opportunity, for me at least. So just waiting. Now the reason I'm zooming in and out, I want to see the whole picture, but also I want to see what the numbers are, to see if they're thin volume or if it's a really big contract. Obviously you can tell when I zoom out quite a bit to some degree, but I like to really hone in on it. Yeah, nice. Did you end up getting the Eurex, or you stayed away from it for now? just zooming over to the US 30 just so I can see what's going on that market. I'm just going to zoom in. We've got a yearly R1 level here on the US 30, so I'd expect that if we do come and touch this level, we may sort of reject off it for a bit. See if I can get back. There we go. Back on the DAX now. Just figuring out what direction we're likely to go. This looks quite bearish. You know, we haven't been able to push higher. We've had a go, but it hasn't worked out just yet. Of course, as I say that, the market goes up, but it looks like the sellers have hold to me. There's more green than there is red, and in this context, I feel like that's probably more bearish. 12 contracts there, that could be limits. Thin volume. If we get a nice push up into a particular level, that's when I'll be looking for my next trade. I'd love to get in short here, but the issue with that is we could go all the way up to this breakout long, and we may not. Obviously the close gap is a target, but I don't see it getting hit just yet. I think we're going to go long into these levels first and get a proper turnaround. It'd be really nice for the market to send us a gift with a really strong indication that we're going to get a turnaround at some point. Of course, it doesn't always happen, but it's better to stay out of the market when you don't know what's going on than to get in. Okay, awesome. Is Tradovate, is that futures as well? Similar targets, everything. I'll have to check them out because the trailing drawdown is definitely not something that I like at all. Looks like aggressive selling here just off that previous day's low, but I'd still like to get up to the next level because we've touched that one already. First touch is always, or generally, a lot more prominent and more gives me a lot more confidence. But there's every chance we may turn around at this level. I'd just prefer if we had a bit more of an impulsive move long. 35 contracts. It's really tempting. We're really building a lot of what looks like aggressive sellers, potential limit orders there. I'm going to hit the button. So I'm short now. This 46 contracts below this limit order here. I'm hoping, if I'm wrong though, this is a limit buy, and that's aggressive buying. So let's hope we push down a little further off the back of this increased volume here. If we can get a nice solid push down. I don't think the market's done with this movement just yet. 50 contracts, they just keep tapping at this level. 58. It's really building. So this is either going to shoot right up or help us go lower. It looks like it's kind of soaking it all up. I'm not confident with the direction. If it pops back lower, I might try and just get out of this position. There's a lot of volume going on here that, it's kind of got me in. but just waiting for more of an indication at this point. I'm going to hold steady for the moment. We haven't moved too far at all in the scheme of things. 8 contracts. It looks like aggressive selling to me, but it's kind of getting soaked up by the buyers. So we really need to see some movement. Otherwise, that kind of shows me that the buyers may have control. Just really need to see the market start to move here. So just waiting it out. We've had 3 green candles kind of propelled us into the previous day's high. Just check the Bollinger Bands on both the 15 and 30. They were breached, which is good, a good sign for us. It means it's outside the standard deviation, and we've got that movement now. So this is what I was hoping for. Obviously, I just need to breathe through these periods and wait for the market to do what I was expecting it to do. We've got 13 contracts here. If we start to see our side orders, I'll be in trouble, but we need to see the bid side keep pushing the market lower. Look, we've hit our target for the day. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to exit, and we're out. So today we hit $825 profit. So that's USD, I believe. So basically we're at 1,100. We're 1/20th to target, and I'm quite happy just to get out there. The market could continue lower down to this close gap, but as far as a target for day 2 of the 300k challenge, I'm 1,000 out of the 20k to target. So that's good enough to get me to next week and see how we go from there. So day 2, we're $1,000 up. We waited for the right information to come through before getting in. We had a really strong build up. So this was the indicator here. I'll just zoom in. We had 62 contracts on the short side. We had only 22 just above it, and then 43 on the ask side, which tells me that was likely to be a sell limit. So the market's peeling away now, which is good to see. Our analysis was on point once again, and I held the trade for a reasonable amount of time. So quite stoked. Thanks so much, Trecklord. Best of luck with your trading tonight. Hopefully you can pass the eval quite quickly as well, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.